So this is the introduction to Desmos. The first activities that we're going to look at involve analyzing some of the design characteristics of pre-made Desmos activities. Then you're going to practice just making a small one. So let's begin by just thinking about the evolution of math education software. In the beginning, you had programmings and gaming. There was one program called Lego Logo, which was basically Legos but with mechanized wheels and sensors, and it was a lot of fun. They had shoot 'em up games and flashcards and things of that sort, but it never really caught on in terms of getting the math directly linked, except for maybe the flashcards, but then it was just drill and kill. And then there was AI tutors, and they would have actual computers that used artificial intelligence. Yes, way back in the day. This is probably 25 years ago. They started the geometry tutor, and there was an emphasis on working all alone. So you were working one-on-one with this tutor who would say, nope, 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 don't do that. Nope, nope, don't do that. And you were sort of dragging in pieces to create proofs. There was a lack of creativity, and there was an emphasis on working alone. Then, da-da-da, came dynamic geometry and algebra, which honestly changed so many things. There was this one initial program called Green Gloves, which was hilarious, but it was basically the same idea as Battleship, where you have these 4 coordinates and you try to find the green globs. There was also an early dynamic geometry program called Geometric Supposer, which the idea was to get kids thinking more about proof from the point of view of, well, what happens if we do this? What happens if we suppose this? So you can see we were moving from purely mechanized and memorized ideas to more of a what-if scenario. Then came Geometer Sketchpad, which honestly changed my way of looking at things, as I've already told you. And now even GeoGebra, which is really just a natural succession, I think, of Geometer Sketchpad. And I think Desmos deserves its own role here in this evolution because it focuses on classroom interaction. And so really all of these, even though this was most emphasis on working alone with a tutor, you can get these other programs to include 2 or 3 kids. But Desmos really is the first software program to actually talk about and sort of socially engineer classroom interaction. So what is Desmos? Basically, Desmos started as a calculator, and it has graphing and parameters and animation. Looks very similar, actually, to the GeoGebra, which we're going to look at. And then it introduced this idea of student.desmos.com, and that you have activities that are already made, and you can modify the activities, and you can create new ones. But the student.desmos.com part allows all the kids to work on the same activity at once. And this is all controlled by the teacher.desmos.com. So, really you're thinking about concepts with the calculator. And then they also have a geometry component, which I think we're going to look at through the GeoGebra lens rather than the Desmos lens, because in Desmos, the geometry and the calculator are completely separate, whereas in GeoGebra, they're integrated. But the idea of geometry, I think, is more just sort of an extra add-on, but nonetheless they're still focusing on a journey to proof, and what the student.desmos.com focuses on classroom management. So if you haven't seen the video that I've already posted above this one, made by Desmos, it's only like 1.5 minutes, much shorter than mine. I encourage you to go look at it. It really helps you give just a quick overview of the teacher and the teacher dashboard. All right, so I wanted to know what are some activity design principles that the Desmos people use when they're making all of their activities. And these are ones that they made. I added 2 more, but I added 1 more and changed 1. They incorporate a variety of verbs and nouns. And what that means is that within an activity, you're going to have a lot of different questions. So you might have graph a few things, reflect on a few things, then do some other completely different activity. You don't want to have slide after slide after slide just saying the same verbs and nouns. Watch this, look at this. Give students an opportunity to be right and wrong in different and interesting ways. So for example, one simple activity says, find the equation of a line that goes through the point 2, 3. Well, as we know, there is an infinite number of points that go through that point. So the idea is you want to give multiple ways to be right, and then multiple ways to be wrong too. So you want to be able to say, well, that can't be wrong for this reason, or that can't be right. And sometimes the reason that it is right or not comes back in a visual way, which is really neat. Delay feedback for reflection. So you don't want to give an answer of right or wrong right away. Sometimes students can see from that visual feedback what's right and wrong, rather than having the computer just say it. Let them say it. Let them be the arbiter of what's correct. That's a lot different, again, than the AI approach where the computer told them what was right and what was wrong at every step. Create objects that can promote math conversations between teachers and students. This is a big one. The idea is to come up with activities where kids say, hey, what'd you get? What'd you get? Or where the teacher can see, you know, this number of people is getting this answer, this number of people is getting this answer. Again, huge shift from the AI approach, if you can see in the timeline. Create activities that are easy to start and hard to finish. This is sometimes called the low floor, high ceiling. So everybody has a way to start, so you're not sitting there feeling stupid, like, I don't even know where to begin. We've all had that feeling, right? But you want to make it so that even the kids who are working ahead are still challenged. And enhance opportunities for communication, which is similar, I think, to the mathematical conversations. All right, so what I've done in the Blackboard is given you some examples of already done marble slides, card sort, open-ended input, and graphing feature. What I want you to do is first look at these activities that I posted, find the one you like the best and say why, based on these activity design principles, which I have given you a whole sheet to download. And then say which activity you think is the least powerful and explain why. And then third, I want you to make your own assignment with a title page, an activity page, and a reflection page. So here we are in Blackboard. And I want you to go to the discussions board. And what you're going to see here is week 1, looking at Desmos activities. Hopefully this is clear. Step 1 is to read the design features. So if you click on this design features, it brings up Word, and you can enable editing if you want. But the idea is that you can see the one I said on the video: incorporate a variety of nouns, give students opportunity to be right and wrong, delay feedback, etc., etc. So that's the first step. Step 2, take a close look at 3 of the 4 activities in this thread. So let's do that. When you click here on this, you'll see there's 4 threads here. Oh, nobody's published yet. So let's take a look, for example, at activity 1, marble slides. You're going to go and you're going to copy this code here. Just copy that code. And now you're going to open a new tab. And you're going to type in student.desmos.com. And you're going to be a student in this activity. Okay, you're going to enter your class code. And you can sign in with Google, or you can say continue without signing in and just put your name in this way. So I'll say Janet Bowers. And now you can see what students see. This is the marble slide. And you notice if you launch it, you kill all of the stars, which is really exciting. All right, so the next one. So we want to, if we launch this ball, we see, well, it's too high. So we need to be able to move the slope of this line. Well, actually, you want to move the y-intercept down. So right now I can see the y-intercept is at 1. So students can, let's try -3. You think that'll work? So if I do launch, oh, that's too much. Let's try -2.5. Well, let's try -2. All right, -2 will work. Success. But let's try -2.5. That also works. So you can see right here that design principle of giving students multiple ways to be right and wrong. So that's the first activity, and you'll see there's a bunch of slides for it. Try to go through them. You don't have to go through all of them, but try to pretend that you're a student and figure out which ones you like there. All right, going back, That was activity choice 1. You're going to do the same thing with activity choice 2, 3, and 4. 2 is a card sort one, where you've got a whole bunch of, you're given 4 cards, and you figure out which one works or which one is different. Again, there's no right answer to these. They're designed to be that way. They're designed to get kids talking. So you're going to look at each of those activities. Think of this one. Activity 3 is using the graphing calculator. This is again one that was professionally done, but you're practicing using equations of parabolas and hyperbolas. So if that one sounds interesting to you, that could be one of the 3 that you look at. And the 4th one is finding slopes from graphs. This one a different teacher made, looking at how the I don't have a picture of this one, but she took a look at activities that she had in her textbook and sort of put them into GeoGebra. So again, the assignment, the discussion here, the discussion is to look at those 4 activities, then figure out which one you like the most, and explain in a post why you liked it the most. Which of the design features did you see, and respond to one other person's post in another thread. Now, which one did you like the least? Why did you like this one the least? Which design feature could be added to maybe make it better? And then respond to someone else in that least thread, or in that thread, who maybe said, gee, I like this one the most. So you can sort of have a little debate there. Okay, so that's week 1. Now, the other thing that I would like you to do is to actually make your own activity. So the next video is going to be talking about making your own activity.